I'm rewatching the X-Men films before Avengers Doomsday, and next on the list is X-Men The Last Stand. Now, it's been a long time since I watched this film, and I'll be honest, I definitely only remember the negatives.
Perhaps I treated you too harshly.
The film has two main plots, Jean Grey developing the Phoenix persona, and the X-Men and Brotherhood dealing with a new cure for mutants. And hear me out, but if the film mostly stuck to the cure, I think a lot of people would hold it in high regard. Personally, I think it was done well. It makes sense for Rogue to want to take it. The Kitty and Bobby love triangle is boring, but I get that it's there to add to Rogue's longing for physical touch. Even the worst parts in this half of the movie work better than the Jean stuff. I think the worst part of it is that I just don't care. Wolverine and Jean were not close enough for me to actually feel any sort of turmoil that Wolverine was feeling, so the final payoff does not hold as much weight as it probably should have. Plot 3.5 out of 5. I forgot how much of a role Magneto had in this film, and it makes sense for him to. Through all three movies, he's been very vocal about seeing mutant abilities as a gift, and that mutants are the future of mankind, so the discovery of a cure is something that he'd obviously be against. It is quite heartbreaking to see him turn his back on Mystique when she is depowered. Unfortunately, not even Ian McKellen can carry his abysmal co-villains. They're all just nameless goons with a gimmick, and this version of Juggernaut is laughably bad.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I can overlook this though, he's basically a henchman, but Jean, easily the worst villain I've covered so far. She doesn't even have a motive, she's just evil. She killed Professor X, but that's basically it. That's as high as the stakes get in this whole movie. Villains, 2.5 out of 5. The Dark Phoenix saga is one of the most iconic storylines in the history of Marvel, and to see it completely butchered like this is actually painful. This is the Dark Phoenix. This is not. And things like this make me wonder why studios and directors choose to adapt things if they aren't going to be remotely similar. Surely they know their target audience will hate it, and if they didn't want to do the cosmic fire space god thing, then I can understand that. Making it a repressed part of Jean's psyche can be overlooked if they actually made her do anything other than just stare at people and make things float. And killing off Cyclops off screen in the first half hour, how do you do the Dark Phoenix without Cyclops? And how do you kill one of your main characters off screen? And who the heck are these random new Brotherhood members? Where's Toad? Where's Avalanche? Where's Polaris? Is this Callisto as well? And how could they get away with calling this Leech? Sorry guys, this really bothers me. Beast is really cool though. Like, in this entire film, somehow they get his personality to be pretty spot on. Comic accuracy, a sad 1 out of 5. I think it's clear by now that I have some big issues with this film. However, I wouldn't write it off as completely unwatchable. I did enjoy the first 20 minutes, and I think that other parts of it could be more enjoyable for those who aren't aware of how the Dark Phoenix story should go. However, as I do know how it should go, parts of it are just so disappointing that it's unwatchable. Rewatchability, 2.5 out of 5. As I come to the end of the original X-Men trilogy, I think they all have their moments where they shine, but unfortunately they came out at a time where comic book films were still quite niche to the general public, so a lot of elements feel toned down. This film definitely isn't great, but parts of it were effective at bookending the trilogy. Final score, 2.5 out of 5. I am very interested to see how Avengers Doomsday brings all these characters back, and whether these films will gain new fans because of it. So I'll leave you guys with a question. What fan theories do you guys have about the X-Men's involvement in Doomsday?